Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to day 11 of BOOKMAS. It's a little bit early, but in today's video I'm going to be doing my January TBR but with a bit of a twist. So instead of choosing my own TBR for this month, I've put up 5 polls on Instagram so you guys can choose my TBR. And I put them up last night, the results are in, and I'm going to go through them today with the 2 options and what one won. So if you're not already doing so, make sure to follow my social media so you don't miss when I do videos like this. Okay, the first poll was kind of just a random one. I just chose 2 books that look very similar. So I chose Before We Were Strangers by Renee Carlino or Flock by Kate Stewart, and they're the ones that I put against each other. Now honestly, I don't really know much about either of these. I just know that they are both romances, and I kind of had a feeling of which one was going to win this, and it did win by far. The book that won was Before We Were Strangers by Renee Carlino. It got 63% and Flock got 37%, so it was like a massive win for Before We Were Strangers. I've looked at the polls already and a couple of them have like won by far that I wasn't really expecting. I was kind of expecting the rest of them to be very equal, but there's a couple that I was very surprised by. I am very excited to go into this because it's a book that I've been putting off for so long, and this year I read Swear on This Life by Renee Carlino and I absolutely loved it. It was a 5-star read for me, and I've seen a lot of people say that this is better than that book, so I think that I will really like this, and I think that I'll go into this one and annotate it because it just seems like the kind of book that I would annotate. I'm not going to read the whole back of the book because it's a lot, but the top line says a missed connection and a second chance at love, so it's obviously a second chance romance, and I don't mind a second chance romance. I know that's like one of those tropes where people either love it or hate it, but I don't mind it. I think I've definitely enjoyed books like that before. So this is the first book for my January TBR. Also, the reason why I only did 5 different slides was so I can actually try to get these 5 books done. I've been in a massive reading slump for 2 months now, and I'm just hoping that this is very achievable, because now that you guys have picked these books, I feel like I actually have to read them. Okay, the next poll I put up was Saving Six by Chloe Walsh, which is the 3rd book in the Boys of Tolman series, or By a Thread by Lucy Score. I don't know why I really chose these. I just kind of chose them because they're very similar sizes, so I thought that I'd just choose books that kind of matched each other size wise. The one that I really wanted to win was Saving Six, because I've been putting this one off for a really long time, so I knew that I probably wouldn't get to it, but this one I am very excited to get to. So the results of this one were absolutely insane. Saving Six won with 71% and By a Thread had 29%, so that was a massive difference. Like, that was an even bigger difference than the last one, and I'm really happy with that result because I really want to continue this series and I really wanted this one to win. As I said, I absolutely adored the first 2 books in this series. They were both 6-star reads and I just loved Johnny and Shannon so much. So now I get to see Joey and Eve and how their relationship sparked up and started, and that's something that I'm really excited about, because it was always something that was at the back of my mind in those first 2 books, wondering how they actually got together. Okay, the next one I did was kind of like a fantasy poll. So one of the options was A River Enchanted by Rebecca Ross. I've really been wanting to read this because it is the same author as Divine Rivals, and I absolutely loved Divine Rivals, so I want to see more of Rebecca Ross's writing in another book. So that was one of the options. And then the other option was A Study in Drowning by Ava Reid. This is another book that I really want to read. I know that it's academic rivals, but honestly I can't tell you anything more than that. That's the only thing I know about this book, and I've heard nothing but amazing things about this one. I've definitely heard mixed reviews on A River Enchanted, but I've heard amazing things about this one. So the results for these 2 were actually a lot closer. I wasn't really sure which way this was going to go as I was like peeking at it last night. So A Study in Drowning had 44% and A River Enchanted had 56%, so obviously A River Enchanted won. And I'm honestly really happy with this result because I'm really excited to get into this, and I just feel like it's going to be a really amazing and beautifully written book when I actually get into it. I'm a little bit nervous, and even from just the back of the book it already sounds so lyrical. Like, I'll read the first 2 parts of the back of the book for you so you can see how like beautiful and poetic it sounds. It says, enchantments run deep on the magical isle of Cadence. Their gossip is carried by the wind. Plaid shawls can be as strong as armor, and the smallest cut of a knife instills fathomless fear. I'm so excited. I'm actually really excited for this one. So that's the 3rd book added onto the pile. Okay, the next poll I did is actually really random. It's an author that I've been really wanting to try out and read, but I've never read one of their books before. And it was one of the authors where I said that I really want to try them out in 2024. So that's why I thought I'd put 2 of their books in this poll so I actually get to one of them in January. And that was V.E. Schwab. So the first book is The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. I've been putting this one off for a really long time, and this is the anniversary edition. So this one is absolutely stunning, and it just makes me want to read the book even more. It's also got like really beautiful artwork in the middle of the book as well, which I love. So that was the first option. And then the second option was A Darker Shade of Magic by V.E. Schwab. Obviously, I genuinely have no idea what either of these books are about, but I've heard nothing but amazing things about both of them, and that's why I've really wanted to get into one of them. And I actually have no idea what the results for these ones are because I didn't actually pay attention to it when I looked at it, but I do have a feeling it's going to be The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, just because everyone has heard of this book and everyone sort of like knows this book, and a lot of people have read it, whereas this one is like kind of getting more hype now and a lot more people are reading it now. So A Darker Shade of Magic got 37%, which means The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue won with 63%. I'm so excited to get to this in January. I don't know if reading this book in summer is going to be a vibe, but I will still try to get into it and try to motivate myself to read it, and I'm just hoping that I love it as much as everyone else does. And the last poll I put up was just 2 books that were just little romances that I thought would be really fun, like palette cleansers and very easy to read. So the first one was The Dead Romantics by Ashley Poston. I read The 7-Year Slip a couple of months ago now, and I absolutely loved it. It was like a time travel romance. And I think this one is a romance between a girl and like a ghost or something like that, but I could be wrong. But I'm very intrigued by this book and very excited to see what it's like when I actually get into it. And then the other book that it went up against was Love and Gelato by Jenna Evans Welch. This one seems so cute. This is actually on my summer TBR. I've got a summer TBR video up on my channel if you would like to go and check that out. There's quite a few books that I really want to get through this summer, which will probably be read around January as well. This one just seems like a very cute, like YA, easy to read without really having to think about anything when you're reading this book. So out of these 2 books, The Dead Romantics won by Ashley Poston. It won with 67%, so that was a lot more people for this one as well. And I honestly didn't really know what to expect out of this poll. I was expecting these 2 to be a lot more even, but I think a lot more people have probably heard of The Dead Romantics rather than Love and Gelato, so that's probably why people just go for the option they know. But still very happy with that result, and I'm very intrigued to see what that book entails. But yeah, that was the 5 polls done. I'm very excited for this TBR. So let's just go through them quickly again. We have Before We Were Strangers by Renee Carlino, Saving Six by Chloe Walsh, A River Enchanted by Rebecca Ross, The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab, and The Dead Romantics by Ashley Poston. So that is our 5 books for my January TBR. I'm really hoping that my slump in January just disappears because I'm getting really sick of this. I like really want to read, but then when I try to read, I just cannot focus on the book and I'm just not engaged in anything that I'm reading. And I don't think it's like the book's fault that I'm reading. I think it's literally just me. I'm like addicted to my phone at the moment and I just can't put it down. And it's also just been such a busy time of the year in December, like for a lot of people. So it's just been a lot harder to find the time to actually sit down and be able to read. But yeah, with all that being said, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Again, make sure you follow my social medias so you don't miss out when I do things like this, because I'm definitely planning on doing more videos like this in the future. But yeah, again, thank you guys so much for watching and I hope to see you in my next video.